Now, for you saying that, Rory's open and lets everybody in, one person who might push back on that, Alan, is Bryson DeChambeau, who we're talking about today. Not as much about him having an opportunity to win the green jacket and then shooting a 75, which I'm sure he's pulling his hair out about right now. But him basically saying, Rory didn't talk to me. I think we might have that soundbite teed up. This is the soundbite everybody is talking about on this Monday.
Did you speak to him in there? How's he doing? Do you know?
No idea. Didn't talk to me once all day.
What was the atmosphere like at everything?
Electric. I loved it, but he was just like, just being focused, I guess. So it's not me, though.
Did you try and initiate conversation with Rory at all?
He wouldn't talk to me. What
do you make of this, Alan?
I'm playing the world's tiniest violin for Bryson's tender feelings. I mean, this was cutthroat competition. What does he want? Small talk? I mean, talk about his next YouTube video. I mean, come on. I thought that was so lame for Bryson to cry about that. Like, Rory's out there in the most important moment of his life. He doesn't care about Bryson. He doesn't care about Bryson's feelings. He's trying to win the golf tournament. I mean, that was a weird little revealing moment. I just don't know what Bryson was expecting. I mean, I remember walking with Norman and Faldo in '96, and they didn't even look at each other until the very final green. And these moments, and Roy had said, he said it on Saturday night in his press conference. He wanted to be in his own little world. He wanted to be in his cocoon. I mean, he already laid out his game plan on how he was going to approach the day. So I don't know what Bryson was complaining about. I mean, this is the highest level of competition. It's not about niceties, and it's about trying to win. And that was Rory's game phase.
Well, I mean, listen, I've done a little bit of a turnaround on DeChambeau, where you want to talk about, begrudging fandom. I mean, that's what I used to have, and I did enjoy him slapping five and everybody once he made that big putt on Saturday. And I saw what happened at the U.S. Open last year, and he did have some humility with Amanda Balionis after his round. And when we're talking about this day and age about not players don't want to talk after they lose. But that's my one long-winded way of just not to get too deep in the mental woods here, but him saying it wasn't me. When he said that it wasn't me, meaning it wasn't his fault that Rory wasn't talking to him. I got the sense of there was a LIV undercurrent here that maybe was in Bryson's mind for this round. I don't know if I'm getting too deep here, but that was the most revealing comment he had, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, I like Bryson. I've always liked Bryson. I did a huge story on him in 2015 for Sports Illustrated. He's still an amateur. And I've sort of had access to his people this whole way, and I think he's great for golf. But Bryson wants so badly to be loved the way Rory is loved, and he just can't quite get there. He's just not, and he tries hard. He almost tries too hard, and with Rory, it's just more effortless. There's just a warmth that's exuded and a genuineness that still eludes Bryson. And I think that moment was part of it. He's made himself part of the story by being churlish about Rory not talking to him. Like, instead of just saying like, hey, it was a pleasure to be out there. The guy played great. It's just, this is Bryson does this to himself often, but just these little things that are kind of these own goals. But I agree with your thesis that he has turned the public perception around. But this was just a little moment where he lost the plot. And if we're honest, Bryson played horrible golf on Sunday. He never had it. He didn't do anything well, and I think that frustration, kind of came out in those little digs at Rory, which just didn't really make any sense in the moment. This is the most feel good win in a long time, and he's trying to make it about him and his little feelings. Like, he just missed the mark.
Well, I mean, and if there was some sort of LIV PGA Tour battle going on that maybe Bryson was reading into Rory's demeanor, he's the one that showed up in his LIV gear, man. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that might have been some sort of mental psych out from Bryson to just say, hey, I'm going to show up full on LIV, the only thing missing was, I love Saudi Arabia sign, on his bag. You know what I mean? Like that, or Greg Norman being his caddy. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I kind of read that part of it, Alan.
Well, I mean, that's how Bryson dresses for every round of golf. So
right.
that was.
But I mean, the Masters on a Sunday, right? I mean,
that's just his usual kit. I mean, no doubt that was on Bryson's mind because LIV has lost a certain amount of momentum. They didn't sign any players of note for this season. They've, even though they got on Fox Sports, the ratings have been as bad as always. It just feels like the LIV Tour is kind of listless and rudderless. And so if Bryson could have won the Masters, that would have been a big deal for LIV Golf, and they would have trumpeted it, and it would have perpetuated this cycle about these guys remaining relevant on the world stage. So there was no question that was something that Bryson was thinking about. I don't think Rory cared at all. He was on such a personal journey, and he knows that if he wins and then everything takes care of itself. He doesn't even have to give it 1% of his brain matter to this overarching storyline that the rest of us think about. So I think this one hurt Bryson in a lot of ways. This was a chance for him to go to a different level. I mean, there's a lot of his contemporaries have 2 major championship victories, whether you talk about Justin Thomas or Scotty Scheffler or Colin Morikawa. You can go on down the list. There's a bunch of really good players with 2 majors. If he could have gotten to 3, that completely separates him. If he had won majors in back-to-back years, if he had conquered Augusta National, a course that just kind of bedeviled him, this was a monumental moment for him. And so I think you could feel that frustration, that sense of he just kind of fell flat on the biggest stage of his career. And so, the overarching LIV Tour storyline is always going to be there. It means a lot more to the LIV guys because they know they're playing for their credibility. I don't think Rory cared one bit.